welcome back to another episode of the Shudder Slaughterhouse. I'm Daniel, and watched another handful of movies from Shudder, and I just kind of want to break them down, give little mini reviews on them. So let's get into it. The first thing I watched was Children of the Corn. This came out in 1984. Basically, it's a young couple who get stuck in Gatlin, Nebraska. Yeah, it's Nebraska. Basically the town is overrun by kids who are part of a insane religious cult, and they're killing anybody who is an adult there. So, I just gotta say right now, I love this movie. Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, I mean, I go easy on the effects, even though the effects, I don't even know if they aged well back then. I don't think they were even that good back then, probably. But you know, it has good gore, really good story. You know, I won't even say the acting, it's just the lines, like, they're ridiculous. Like, at the end when Linda Hamilton, by the way, my God, same year she busted out Terminator. Like, you just want to see her, like, pick up a gun and start wasting all these kids, like I did anyways. I don't know. I guess I'm a psychopath, because it's just like, there's a movie that came out in the 70s called Could You Kill a Child? It's like a Spanish film. They did a remake, an English remake, I don't know when. It was this past decade. But I'm just like, am I supposed to feel bad about that? Because I'm sorry, if a kid comes at me with a weapon, I'm just going to put him down. Like, that's all there is to it. I'm going to put it down permanently, because if you just knock it out, he doesn't learn a lesson that way. So you gotta kill him. There's no morality in this town. I would have just wiped out all these kids. And Linda Hamilton should have done it. She should have went all fucking Sarah Connor on him, but she didn't. But anyway, there's a scene at the end where, you know, the kids are like, hey, what are we gonna do about us? You know, come live with it. It's very cheesy. There's a lot of lines like that. It's just really whatever, but it's still fucking awesome. Like, I don't know who the kid that plays Isaac was. He kills it. Like, I mean, very impressed with his acting in this movie. It's like, holy shit. Fucking Malachi. Here's a wacky side note for you. There for a minute, this guy was going to be a pro wrestler. That was my wrestling name, Malachi. And now here's a guy in AEW going by Malachi Black, which is fucking awesome. Because I was like, it worked. That's a great name. It's an awesome name. I would just keep it short as Malachi, but, you know, whatever. I guess if you go back to WWE, then they can cut off the black part and he can just be Malachi. Anyways, past all that, no, this is just, this is classic horror to me. I've just always been a big fan of Children of the Corn. You know, people at Shudder the community gave it a 4 out of 5 skulls. You know what? My pick of the week, 5 out of 5. Yes, I said it. I love this movie. I mean, what's not to love about that? And R.G. Armstrong, who plays, like, the old mechanic that helps him out, like, he's great in it. I love his whole thing and his final death scene. And like I said, I'm a fan of the first 2 or 3 Children of the Corn. I never actually watched beyond that. Maybe watched 4, but I was like, I'm done after that. 3's kind of hit or miss too, but I was like, 1 and 2. I like 1 and 2. I'm a fan of those. But I really love the first one. Like, the other ones I like. This one I love. I was a big fan of it. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I watch it, I'm just kind of like, I want to see a movie where, like in the book, spoiler alert, you haven't read the short story, you know, like, the adults are killed, like, flat out. Linda Hamilton's character is crucified and murdered at that point, and then Peter Horton's character gets attacked by he who walks behind the road. And so it's like, the society moves on. I would have loved to have seen that, but then with here they introduced the characters. Like, I don't know if they had character names or they had the biblical names, but like here, I think they introduced Isaac and Malachi. I would have loved to see those guys get along and successfully run this thing, and maybe in part 2 break them up and kind of have a different group of people show up or whatever. I don't know. Children of the Corn, just fucking awesome. So yeah, sorry, it's supposed to be a mini review and I just sucked it off completely. Okay, so up next, it's a film called Poughkeepsie Tapes, made in 2007. This one basically is about, it's a mockumentary, or found footage, whatever you want to call it. They find all these VHS tapes in Poughkeepsie, New York, and when they go back and look at it, they realize this is like it's a serial killer who's been killing for like decades now, and it's like all his work here. And yeah, so this one has a very interesting. I have an interesting tie to it, but then it has a very interesting production, release history. So this thing was supposed to come out in 2007, and kept getting pushed back. And I don't know what the reason. I think I know what the reason is. It doesn't feel like it's a theatrical movie at all. Like it really does. Like this really does feel like straight to video or an internet. I don't mean that in a derogatory manner. It just feels like this is something you would stumble across on the internet. Like I feel like this is perfect viewing for like the laptop or whatever, because it feels like a legit, like you're watching like a legit true crime documentary. At least I think so. Anyways, it got pushed back, and then it was pushed back for like 7 years, where it got like a very brief, and I mean very brief, DirecTV run on demand, and then it got canceled again, and then I guess it got released like 3 or 4 years later. Shout Factory, awesome guy, or Scream Factory, Either way, they re-released it. So I watched this a few years ago. Sorry, I found a bootleg copy. I had an illegal copy. Yeah, that's the play. It was before the DVD came out, so I was like, I want to see this, and someone must have pirated it from the DirecTV, so I got to watch it. I really love this movie. I think it's really good. It's disturbing, is what it is. It feels like I said, it feels real, I guess, overall. The funny, I'll get to, I'll get here to you. I'll go through the movie first. It has a very creepy vibe to it. It's a very realistic vibe, and I think that's probably the other reason that they were probably unable to, move forward with a theatrical release, because it probably was just like, I don't know. It's a one. Even though I've seen it like twice now, it does feel like it's a one-time watch. But I don't know. Maybe it's not, because honestly, I put it up there for like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, where it's just like, fuck me, that was brutal, but I could probably go back and revisit that sometime. So I feel like that kind of goes to that thing. The funny tie here, and I'm sorry, I rarely bring up my own personal film career or lack of film career on this show, but there is a unique tie to this movie because, like I said, it came out in 2007. And I remember I worked at the theater here in town, and we actually got posters in for it. It was going to come out. And so I actually had the theatrical poster for it. I actually took it home, but it never got released, and I never heard anything else about it. I eventually got rid of the poster. I wish now I would have kept it, because it was like a legit movie theater poster. But anyways, it was gone forever. And so, 2011, me and Simon decided to, make Unspeakable Acts, which is basically the same almost fucking plot. And, I mean, obviously they made theirs first, so I mean, it is what it is, but we changed up a little bit. We have 2 killers instead of 1, but a lot of the details are the same. I mean, they have a way better budget than us too, and theirs looks more realistic, like a real documentary. Ours doesn't. Ours definitely looks like a YouTube cobbled together, documentary. But it was just so crazy how much similarities was there, to the point where we had a different ending in mind when we shot this, when we were shooting our movie. But during production, we actually ended up changing it, and we had it where we had a female survivor who was completely fucked up by the whole thing. And in this movie, Poughkeepsie Tapes, the same thing happens, where there's one female survivor and she's just mentally scarred. I won't ruin anything. I won't give any spoiler, but there's a difference between their survivor and our survivor. But still, yeah, it was like, son of a bitch. And I just remember thinking our movie, we're gonna be different, we're not gonna be different. I didn't know time. I was we're gonna be so extreme. We're gonna kill kids. They kill kids in this one, no big deal. And I was like, fuck. I thought we were so original. Sexual torture and rape, no, they did that too. So the funny thing is, though, so while we're filming, I get around to watch the Poughkeepsie Tapes. Like I said, I saw it on a site I used to go to. I don't know if it's even around anymore. 123movies.com or something like that, or Hulu.com, or it's something like that. They always change up the dot whatever, because it's illegal. I'm probably incriminating myself right now, but I came across this, and I'm watching it, and as I'm watching, I'm just like, fuck me, it is so fucking similar, but it's like a bad knockoff. It's like when Asylum releases those mockbusters. We just had Dune released this month, last week. Next week, it's a movie called sandworms or like dune sandworms or like that. It's like it's clearly like they're they're using the title and the note, and I feel like oh shit they're gonna think it's us like they're Coca-Cola and we're definitely like RC. But I was I showed Simon and Simon just like well we're what the fuck they already did it we can't do it. I was like well there are differences they don't go into the personality as much on their killer and we did on ours. And like I said, there's little things, that, and then at the end of the day, it's like, at the time, it's like, this thing wasn't even being released. Like, this thing was, like, buried on the internet. And I was like, let's be real, our movie's going to be buried on the internet as well. So it's like, there's no direct competition or, whatever. And, of course, it does get released, and, it is what it is. But, yeah, and the only thing I can think of, like, the one thing that kept kind of going through my mind was back when I saw on the Phantasm DVD where they were talking about how when they were making the dwarves in the movie, they realized that Star Wars was also making a movie that had Jawas, which were basically dwarfs, looked exactly the same almost. And of course, they're just like, "Well, what do you do?" And they're like, "Well, what can we do? We already had the idea. We were running with it. Just do it, So that's kind of what I told him, and he kind of relaxed, and we released it or whatever. But I don't know. This always fucked me. When I saw this, I was just like, "Holy shit!" So when I rewatched it, it was even more evident. Like, holy crap! Like this is exact. A lot of similarities. But no, I really do dig the Poughkeepsie Tapes. I think it's really great. It's on the higher end of me because, like I said, it's one of those. I don't know if I wish I'd watch it. The Shudder community gave it 4 out of 5. I have written down 3 out of 5. I don't know. I'd pipe up to 4. It'd be in there somewhere. High 3, low 4 kind of thing. But no, it's a solid. It's really disturbing and fucked up. And once again, definitely comes off very realistic. And just creepy overall. I guess that's, the word to sum it up is just creepy. Speaking of creepy, we're gonna get to our next one now. Movie called Possum. This is a British. Excuse me. Sorry. This. December. Should be filming these as soon as I get an eat. But anyways, movie's called Possum, came out in 2018, and it's a British film. The basic premise here is this guy, he comes back to his childhood home, and you can tell he's a little fucked up anyways. And, he's confronting his uncle, and there's some kind of dark secret that he's had to kind of... He's uncovering it as the movie goes on. So this is a very low budget, and I would dare say kind of an artsy, experimental type horror film. Very slow burn movie. Now, I'll be honest with you, when it was first starting, one thing, and I'm going to sound like an ignorant, fat American, but my God, their accents were so thick that there was a lot of times they were talking really low a lot of the movies, so I didn't know what the fuck they were saying half the time. Like, I kept having to kind of go back. Like, what was that again? Well, should do something. I didn't even think about looking to the head subtitles, and I guess I found they had closed captioning. But either way, it was just like, I don't know, just a low talk, not understand what they're saying. It took me out a little bit, and then it is just very slow. Like, nothing's fucking happening. But during this nothing happening, there are just certain scenes, images that just, it's creepy. It's unsettling. It's very unnerving. I don't know how much I want to say because I don't want to give away too much in case you guys do watch it. He's got this puppet inside of a suitcase or a bag, and it's a weird. I don't know how to explain. It's like a giant spider puppet, but like with this weird face, like a mannequin skull face, I guess. I don't know. It's some scary shit, and that's the weird thing is like this movie was so boring, and you be doing this kind of thing, like okay. What the fuck? And then it would cut to something else, and it'd be more boring bullshit. And I mean, if one of them, maybe I should watch a second time because honestly, I think knowing what I know now or where it's going or what's going on, I may be able to kind of appreciate it a little more. But I'm just giving you my first time reaction to this thing. But I'm just like, holy shit! Oh my God! It was a seesaw thing. I'm just like seeing something really fucked up, and then going back to just British mumblecore, and it was just, it is what it is. You can tell a lot of this is kind of just psychological. A lot of this is in his head. And you think, maybe you guys will see it different. I thought it was going one way completely. And so I was kind of already looking ahead like that. I will say the ending did kind of surprise me. Like I said, the first half, it's nothing. The second half, it's nothing with creepy shit. Or sorry, the second act is creepy shit. But in the third act, it really does just start racing to the finish line, and just you're seeing him kind of break down mentally a little more, and then we get the kind of, I don't want to call it a twist, but I guess the big reveal at the end. But yeah, there's a few times, like I said, there's a couple jump scares in here that you have to shit out of me, because again, it's just so. This thing is creepy. I'll just say that this thing is fucking creepy. Oddly enough, and I'm gonna butcher the names. I couldn't remember what the name was called. But I was looking up this movie and trying to look into it a little more and get a little background on it. The guy who did Dark Places, Garth Marenghi's or McCarty's or whatever. Dark Places it's a British show, but it was on Adult Swim there for a little bit. Where it's just like it was supposed to be a show from the '80s, and it's like on VHS and everything. But they're doing like interviews and like commentary on it, looking back at the show. And so the show's supposed to be like just really goofy and cheesy, but they're taking it very seriously. A hilarious, great show. Well, apparently this dude did that, and I was like, holy shit! Like talk about a complete change of pace, here. But I liked it. People at I gave it 4 out of 5. They gave everything 4 out of 5 this week. 4 out of 5 is what the people at Shudder, the community, gave it. I'm giving it 3 out of 5, and it is a low 3 out of 5. I will say, because I was bored through most of it. But like I said, there is some fucked up, unnerving shit. And this is one I do want to watch again, because I do think if I watch it again, I'm not saying it's going to get out of that 3 range, but at least it'll be a higher 3 than a lower 3. Because I feel like at this point it's a very low 3. But like I said, I don't know, it did make me jump, and I feel like that's and it didn't more like a cheap jump scare either. That's the thing. Like it's so. Like I said, it's creepy. It's just creepy. 2 disturbing movies this week: Poughkeepsie Tapes and Possum. But yeah, that's it right there. So my pick of the week is still Children of the Corn, but I would say check out all 3 of these movies. They're definitely worth checking out. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for if you've seen these 3, let me know what you guys thought of them. Comment section down below. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and until next time.